The FBI says 15 people have now been arrested, including members of a violent Tacoma Street gang, as part of a massive fentanyl trafficking bust in Pierce County.
Aware that this was a vulnerability for their operation, and we're taking steps to protect it.
Federal and local law enforcement agencies have just dismantled one of the most sophisticated and dangerous drug trafficking networks operating in the Pacific Northwest. Following an intense 18-month investigation, the FBI and Homeland Security Investigations, HSI, successfully took down a Tacoma-based fentanyl operation linked to the violent Knockout Crips street gang. This massive operation, part of a multi-state sweep, resulted in 15 arrests, 13 federal search warrants, and the seizure of large amounts of fentanyl, methamphetamine, cocaine, firearms, and cash. According to investigators, this mission was not just about seizing drugs, it was about ending the cycle of violence that came hand in hand with the narcotics trade. Over nearly 2 years, agents followed the gang's movements from stash houses in Tacoma to luggage carousels at Seattle-Tacoma International Airport, SeaTac. What they uncovered revealed a shocking level of organization and reach. Authorities say the gang had developed a professional-grade smuggling network, transporting fentanyl pills and powder from Phoenix, Arizona, into Washington state using commercial flights and everyday travelers. Many of the couriers were young women recruited through social media, promised quick money for short trips. They were instructed to fill luggage with shrink-wrapped narcotics, soak the bags in perfume to mask the scent, and board commercial flights bound for Seattle. Once the shipments arrived, members of the Knockout Crips collected the drugs and distributed them across Pierce County's neighborhoods. Analysts describe the group as a disciplined trafficking pipeline, organized, methodical, and violent in protecting its roots and profits. On the morning of the takedown, over 100 officers from the FBI, HSI, DEA, and the South Sound Safe Streets Task Force executed simultaneous raids across Tacoma, Lakewood, and nearby areas. Tactical teams breached doors, flashbangs lit up residential blocks, and armored vehicles sealed off intersections as suspects were pulled from homes and cars. By noon, 15 key individuals, from gang leaders to couriers and local dealers, were in custody. One federal agent described the bust as a total network collapse, explaining that they didn't just arrest low-level street dealers. They dismantled the entire supply chain feeding fentanyl into Washington communities. Federal prosecutors confirmed that the investigation began after a wave of fatal overdoses in Pierce County, where victims were found with identical blue M30 pills, counterfeit oxycodone tablets laced with fentanyl. Lab tests traced every batch to the same source, pointing toward a single dominant organization controlling both supply and distribution. What began as a local overdose review evolved into one of Washington's largest gang-related narcotics investigations. Months of surveillance, wiretaps, and undercover operations revealed communication between Tacoma-based gang members and Phoenix suppliers, coordinating shipments disguised as ordinary travel. The operation's reach stretched as far as Baltimore, proving the gang's connection to a nationwide distribution network. When agents executed the final warrants, the evidence spoke for itself. 6 kilograms of fentanyl, 8 kilograms of methamphetamine, 228 grams of cocaine, 27 kilograms of marijuana, 23 firearms, many of them stolen or with serial numbers filed off $111,000 in cash. Recovered from stash houses, vehicles, and hidden wall compartments, agents also seized drug ledgers, burner phones, and encrypted messages, mapping every layer of the organization's structure. The data revealed a gang that treated fentanyl like currency, trading death for power and profit. Officials believe this single takedown will save countless lives, cutting off one of the largest fentanyl pipelines flowing into the Pacific Northwest. The FBI hailed the mission as a cornerstone of Operation Summer Heat, a nationwide crackdown on violent gangs and narcotics traffickers. According to federal officials, the Tacoma case demonstrates the power of precision enforcement, hitting criminal networks before they expand. What unfolded in Pierce County reflects a broader national struggle. Airport by airport, neighborhood by neighborhood, federal agents are fighting back against traffickers who believe they can hide behind crowds or commercial systems. The case that ended in Tacoma's dramatic dawn raids began quietly inside a federal wire room months earlier, where agents monitored coded phone conversations between Tacoma and Phoenix. Phrases like tickets, packages, and flights were used as slang to disguise shipment details. For 8 weeks, analysts listened, decoded, and built a digital map of the entire smuggling network, tracing it from Mexican cartel brokers in Arizona to street-level dealers in Washington. Once the timing of multiple SeaTac shipments was confirmed, agents were cleared to strike. Before sunrise, teams from the FBI, HSI, DEA, ATF, and Tacoma Police launched a 13-location coordinated assault. Streets were locked down. Armored vehicles rolled in. Breaching charges blew through doors as tactical units moved in with precision. Every strike team carried live digital intelligence, floor plans, suspect profiles, potential weapon locations. Within minutes, the streets were under control. The gang's code words gave way to handcuffs and evidence bags. Inside the targeted homes, investigators found what they had long suspected: bags of narcotics, cash counting machines, digital scales, and weapons wrapped in towels. Several firearms matched burglary reports. Others had their serial numbers removed, a telltale sign of black market sales. As arrests rippled through Tacoma, prosecutors in Seattle unsealed a 10-count federal indictment. 9 principal defendants were charged with conspiracy to distribute controlled substances, while 5 others faced criminal complaints based on drugs and weapons found during the raids. Because of the quantity of fentanyl and presence of firearms, each defendant faces a mandatory minimum of 10 years in federal prison, with potential for life sentences. Federal officials stressed that this was far from a local bust. It was a multi-state, intelligence-driven operation targeting a network tied directly to Mexican cartel supply lines. The message was clear: no matter how organized, no gang or trafficker can outrun federal eyes. Intelligence gathered by federal agents linked the Knockout Crips network to a far-reaching web of regional suppliers who moved narcotics through Phoenix, Las Vegas, and Denver before the shipments ultimately arrived in Washington state. Evidence revealed that at least one Phoenix-based supplier maintained direct cartel connections, making the Tacoma operation a critical distribution hub within a larger pipeline supplying multiple western states. Investigators emphasized that violence sustained the network. Members of the Knockout Crips enforced order and discipline through shootings, robberies, and witness intimidation. Several of the arrested defendants were already suspects in homicides and drive-by attacks linked to territorial disputes. Ballistic testing connected 2 confiscated handguns from the raids to shell casings found at separate crime scenes in Pierce County. For law enforcement, these findings highlighted the deeper significance of the operation. This was never just about stopping narcotics. It was about preventing the next act of violence. As one senior agent stated, every shipment of drugs carries not only poison, but the promise of bloodshed. Every pill sold funds another gun. Cutting that supply saves lives on both sides of the barrel. Behind the scenes, the coordination was meticulous. The operation was executed under the Organized Crime Drug Enforcement Task Force's (OCDETF) framework, uniting federal prosecutors with more than a dozen agencies, including IRS Criminal Investigations and the U.S. Postal Inspection Service. Analysts tracked wire transfers, parcel shipments, and cash deposits, all funneling drug profits back to Phoenix. This intelligence allowed financial teams to freeze multiple bank accounts and seize vehicles purchased with drug proceeds. Officials described this intelligence-driven, prosecutor-led model as the future of gang enforcement, combining vast data, coordinated raids, and immediate financial disruption. By the end of the operation, the results spoke volumes. 15 defendants arrested, 13 federal warrants executed, dozens of weapons seized, multiple kilograms of fentanyl, methamphetamine and marijuana confiscated for Tacoma's communities. That meant something powerful: silence replacing gunfire. For federal agencies, it proved that multi-jurisdictional coordination could dismantle a violent street organization operating with the structure and ambition of a cartel. As one Homeland Security official put it, "This is how you fight organized crime in America now. Trace the phones, hit the doors, seize the money, and shut the route down before the next flight lands." In the days following the Tacoma raids, federal officials hailed the case as a benchmark for modern multi-agency enforcement in the era of synthetic narcotics. The case was part of Operation Summer Heat, a nationwide FBI-led initiative built around a single guiding philosophy: to treat violent drug networks as domestic insurgencies and neutralize them before they adapt. The Tacoma investigation embodied that philosophy. It used intelligence before muscle, precision before publicity, and teamwork over territory. Agents from the FBI, HSI, DEA, and ATF worked side by side with local partners in Tacoma, Lakewood, and Pierce County, united under one mission: to shut down the entire fentanyl corridor that had turned parts of the Pacific Northwest into overdose epicenters. Federal leaders said this operation wasn't just another bust. It was a prototype for how to fight the fentanyl epidemic city by city, route by route. And the impact, they said, was immediate. Within just 48 hours of the arrests, the 3,100-block corridors of East Tacoma, once buzzing with hand-to-hand drug deals, went silent. Known dealers vanished, addicts lost their supply, and community patrols that once feared entering certain areas began walking the streets again. Residents who had grown used to the sound of gunfire at night began hearing federal agents collecting evidence and city crews repainting gang-tagged walls. "People can finally sleep without hearing shots," one resident told reporters. Authorities admitted the calm was fragile, but real. It was proof that when violent networks are removed in one unified strike, neighborhoods can begin to heal. The financial seizures told another part of the story, the economics behind the violence. Alongside the narcotics and firearms, agents recovered over $111,000 in cash, vehicles, jewelry, and digital ledgers, documenting profits funneled into new shipments. IRS criminal investigations analysts traced deposits through multiple Arizona-based accounts, leading to the freezing of nearly $300,000 in suspected drug proceeds. Investigators believe the gang laundered profits through small businesses and prepaid debit cards, disguising them as legitimate income. The FBI's Financial Crimes Unit is now collaborating with bank compliance officers to track remaining funds that may tie Tacoma distributors to their Southwest suppliers. One financial analyst summed it up bluntly: "Every dollar we seize is a bullet they can't buy and a plane ticket they can't book." Still, law enforcement leaders caution that this is just one battle in a larger war. Fentanyl distribution networks are highly adaptive, shifting routes, couriers, and airlines within days of major disruptions. Because of that, Operation Summer Heat task forces remain on high alert across the Pacific Corridor. Agents in Seattle and Portland are already monitoring airports, shipping hubs and interstate highways for signs of copycat operations, trying to fill the void left by the Knockout Crips collapse. Homeland Security sources have confirmed that new search warrants have been issued in Phoenix, where suppliers are believed to have sourced the seized pills. Federal task forces are also turning their attention to the manufacturing side, targeting counterfeit pill labs in Chice, Arizona, and California that press fentanyl-laced M30 tablets, bound for cities across the U.S. for the Justice Department. The Tacoma takedown symbolizes a new era of enforcement, one where data, surveillance, and field operations merge into a single, synchronized strike. Acting U.S. Attorney Tessa Loy Miller summarized the operation's significance in a public statement. "Our success isn't measured just in arrests or kilos seized, but in the interruption of a death economy that thrived on addiction. Every gram of fentanyl we stop means one less overdose, one less funeral, one less family shattered." Federal officials have confirmed that additional summer heat operations are already planned across both the Pacific Northwest and the Southwest corridor, targeting remaining networks still moving synthetic drugs by air and ground. As the dust settles over Tacoma, the message from federal agents could not be clearer. The game has changed. The era of open-air drug markets protected by gangs and fueled by cross-state supply lines is coming to an end. Law enforcement now moves faster, hits harder, and coordinates deeper than ever before. The traffickers who once hid behind street names, burner phones, and airport crowds are running out of places to disappear. This time the hunt came to their doorstep, and it won't stop until every link in the chain is broken for good.